In this video I will show you some lighting setups that will help you to create good looking shots in run and gun situations. If you're shooting alone or you cannot reach the location by car, like this one here, you might not want to bring huge light domes with you. What you need are battery powered, small but strong lights, like these new Sirui T30s here. I have 3 of them and they easily fit in my camera bag and I can carry all the setup alone. And since they are magnetic, you can put them basically anywhere. When you want to film a face in front of the sun, chances are high the face will be too dark because the sun is so bright. What you could do is placing a light 45 degrees in front of the subject and lighting the face, like this. I would suggest that you put the light on the far side of the face so that the shadow is on the camera side. Doing this, we achieve what we call far side lighting or backlighting, which is simply a more interesting look. Now this light here acts as the main light for your subject and is often called key light. If you think that the shadow side of the face is too dark now, you could use a second light and brighten it up a bit. This is now called fill light, because it fills up the shadow side. What we have now is a classic 3-point lighting setup with a key light, a fill light and a backlight, which is the sun. And what a backlight does is it creates some separation from the background. Well, now the sun is going down, we can see it only a bit. It creates this nice line here on my shoulder. The sun has already set, I will wait until it's gone completely, and then I want to test if these lights are powerful enough when there is no natural light in the scene at all. So let's try to fake a scene with a campfire. This light has several built-in effects. You can switch through them either on the device itself or in the app. And I will use the fire effect and put the light on the ground. I actually don't want to put the light in the grass because the high grass blocks some light. So I use this tripod leg and put it on because it's magnetic, right? What we could do, if this effect is not convincing enough, is to use a second light, put it in CCT mode, which is very bright, and give it an orange color. Let's put it on. And then shine some permanent light on my face with this very bright CCT mode. Maybe this is more convincing, we will see. And look how bright this gets. So this will be our very basic location and very basic scene. In addition to this very warm campfire light, I want to create some color contrast. So I use a second light, put it on a cooler color temperature, let's say 7000 Kelvin, and then bring it up somewhere here on the tree. I put this spigot here at the end in the 3/4 inch mounting thread. I use a clamp and put the spigot in. And now I clamp it somewhere up there in the tree. Now let's test our clamped moon. It's in CCT mode at 7000 Kelvin. Should work, we will see. It's pretty dark already, so let's test campfire 1. The camera is at ISO 640, by the way. The moon. Yep, the moon separates us cool from the background, fills up this side a bit, and it's at 3%. 3%, let's put this up to 100. The moon is quite bright now. And mosquitoes come. And now we're at the second campfire, at 1%. This is 100%, which is actually too bright. Next, I want to test if we can film a car interior scene just right inside of my garage. And of course, we may only utilize the 3 lights we have. I film from this side, inside the car, and I want to fake street lamps going over the head of the talent, which is me again. So that's basically the shot, with the green screen in the back so that we can fake the surrounding afterwards. Since I want to shut off all the room lights afterwards when we film, I use this Sirui T30 to light this green screen. I used 2 T30s to create this effect of the street lamps going over the head, and I just used 2 to make this effect really strong and visible. And basically that's it. It's a 2-light setup. One for the effect of the street lamps and one for the green screen. The lights are on. Shut the room lights off. We have the effect on the car and we have the lit green screen. And this is our shot. Basically, and you cannot fake these moving shadows with just one flickering light. You need a light source that's moving inside of the light, and the pixel effect is just great for that. But can these lights be used for interviews or shots like this one here? Because as you've probably heard, small lights create hard shadows and you want soft shadows on people's faces. Well, if you kind of like this shot here, then I would say yes, because it's entirely lit with T30 tube lights. But why is the light on my face quite soft and not hard? Well, because I used this diffuser and put it in front of the light. Without this, it would look like this. It is quite hard, the shadows have hard edges, it's not a very pleasing look, but if you spend another $10 for a diffuser like this, the problem is solved. For soft shadows you need bigger lights and more diffused lights. So what I did is, I stacked two lights together to get a bigger tube light and I diffused it with this filter. To make this shot even a bit more interesting, I can add a backlight, like this. This is my third T30 and it's at 7000 Kelvin and 90% brightness. You can buy this little grid as a cheap accessory. With this grid, the light doesn't spill all over the place anymore, you can direct the light. And with this grid I could let the light shine only at the center of the cupboard and not color everything in blue behind me. And this can be mounted very quickly, you can just slide it off and on again. And I think the result is quite okay, I mean not even just for a run and gun setup. And you might ask now, how long does the battery last when it blasts on your face with 60%? Well, at 100% the battery lasts exactly 1 hour and 1 minute. At 50%, you guessed it, the battery lasts 2 hours. And that should be enough for a lot of situations, and if not, you can plug in a USB-C cable, put it in a V-mount battery and power it from this. The battery of this light was completely dead, but I run it now from this V-mount. These lights have cooling fans because it can get so bright and therefore needs to be cooled, and you can hear that in the microphone. But if you find to operate it under 30% brightness, you can switch the fan off and then it's dead quiet and no noise can be picked up from any microphone. Of course you have several effects you can choose from, some system effects like RGB cycle and flash, and the pixel effects, something like shade. You can choose the colors you want to use and then the light changes between these two colors. And this is only possible because it's a pixel light. Different areas of the light can have different colors. Now something very cool. You can combine the lights so that you get one bigger light. And then the effects move along these three lights simultaneously. It really looks like you have one big bar and you can create a nice effect with this. For example, you can light your background for a product shooting. Now something about brightness. This is my Godox TL60 tube light, and these are two of the TL30s, they have the same size as the Godox. But as you can see, it's much brighter. The output of the CCT mode is insane for such a small light. This light is only $99, which is a fraction of what other lights from other brands cost with the same functionality. So it really doesn't need a much bigger setup to start creating, and if you want to see the big brother of these lights, watch this video here.